2 Proud Boys sentenced to 4 years in prison. Folks, what you're seeing is our webpage where we compile news about the Proud Boys. It's one of many pages, different areas of the culture war, but this one is the Proud Boys, you can see right there. And the newest news is at the top. Generally speaking, it's just a collection of news by date and by time, but sometimes I actually add some written reports in here to flesh things out for you. And that's what I'm going to be reading, and you can see this by scrolling down, seeing the link below. If you remember from a more in-depth written report and video about this case, Antifa and the Proud Boys fought in New York City in October of 2018. Reportedly, there were no serious injuries. First, it was reported that the Proud Boys started the fight. Then, surveillance video was released that showed that Antifa threw something at them first, a water bottle, some say containing urine. Then it was reported that new video shows that, aha, the Proud Boys started the fight after all. They thought they got a gotcha after having got, but did they? As I showed, it was not so simple. We're going to skip over some of these written reports, but don't worry, I'll quote the stuff that is not redundant. At 11:47 a.m. on the 22nd on Telegram, Gavin McInnes posted this. Proud Boys Max Hare and John Kinsman were just sentenced to 4 years in prison for defending themselves too much after an ambush. The SPLC made them a gang and the media pushed the narrative. John has 4 black kids, including a newborn who won't fucking know him when he gets out. Nice work, Colin Moynihan, Andy Campbell, Jared Holt, Christopher Mathias, Will Summer, Andrew Morantz, etc. Your lies just ruined 2 lives. According to multiple reports, John Kinsman, 40 years old, and Maxwell Hare, 27 years old, were each sentenced to 4 years in prison, and according to DC Clothesline, 5 years of supervision after release. Reports generally state that the alleged victims, Antifa, did not press charges or cooperate with the police in any way, that Kinsman and Hare argued that they acted in self-defense, and that Assistant DA Joshua Steinglass argued for a 5-year prison sentence for each. Multiple reports say that they both expressed regret in court. For example, Hare is quoted as saying by multiple sources, quote, "I made a mistake that night. I made quick decisions. I'm sorry," unquote. And Kinsman is saying, quote, "I regret the entire incident," unquote. And that's from the New York Times. Other sources include the rest of his quote. Apparently he said, quote, "I'm sorry about the whole mess. I regret the entire incident," unquote. Kinsman and Hare were found guilty in New York State Supreme Court by Justice Mark Dwyer of attempted gang assault, attempted assault, and riot. this past summer. See the Rolling Stone, ABC News, US News and World Report, and etc. for that. At 1:04 p.m. on the 22nd, the New York Post put out Proud Boys members get prison for brawl with Antifa protesters. The following is a quote from the New York Post. Justice Mark Dwyer gave Maxwell Hare, 27, and John Kinsman 40 terms that were 6 months above the minimum. Both defendants faced as much as 15 years. The BBC adds that, quote, other members of the group have received lighter sentences, unquote. At 1:08 p.m. on the 22nd, the Daily News, it's a New York paper, put out Not So Proud Boys get prison time for Upper East Side scrap with Antifa, in which they write, Dwyer, the New York State Supreme Court Justice, turned a deaf ear to Kinsman and Hare's bids for sympathy and likened their crime to World War II era ideological violence. Quote, I know enough about history to know about what happened in Europe in the 1930s when political street brawls were allowed to go ahead without any type of check from the criminal justice system, unquote, Dwyer said. The judge, citing the emotionally charged political climate, said it's important to punish such behavior, quote, especially at this time, unquote. Dwyer did concede that Antifa may have baited the Proud Boys the night of the attack at East 82nd Street and Lexington Avenue. That's the Upper East Side of Manhattan, folks. Kinsman and Hare were among a group of 10 Proud Boys busted for the violent street scrap. All but one have been convicted at trial or by guilty plea, unquote. At 2:39 p.m., Rolling Stone put out Proud Boys sentenced to 4 years in prison for attacking protesters. At 3:03 p.m., CBS 3 Duluth put out 2 Proud Boy members sentenced to 4 years over New York City melee. 4:03 p.m., ABC 21 WPTA put out 2 Proud Boys members sentenced to 4 years over New York City melee, in which they write, quote, Judge Mark Dwyer said the lengthy sentences should deter people from engaging in what he called, quote-unquote, political street brawls. Further down they write, in issuing the sentences Tuesday, Dwyer said the brawl reminded him of violent clashes that went unchecked in Europe in the 1930s, fueling the rise of fascism. Such violence won't be tolerated in New York City, quote, especially at this time in the country when people are so divided, unquote, the judge said. Further down they report, the trial was unusual in that no victims testified because they are not cooperating with police. Instead, prosecutors relied heavily on video, including security camera footage that show Proud Boys members starting the fight, unquote. 5:38 p.m., Associated Press for ABC News, 2 Proud Boy members sentenced to 4 years over New York City melee, and Associated Press for US News and World Report, 2 Proud Boys members sentenced to 4 years over New York City melee. 6:43 p.m., The Washington Post, under their National Digest section, put out 2 far-right activists sentenced in fight. 7:42 p.m., PIX 11, Proud Boys members sentenced to 4 years over New York City melee. Back in March of 2019, a number of Proud Boys who were involved in the fight were sentenced. A total of 10 Proud Boys were indicted as a result of the incident, according to the Daily News. On March 29th, the Daily Mail, the Daily News, the New York paper, and others reported that the Proud Boys David Jacob, 29, pled guilty to the charge of disorderly conduct.
If you weren't, I'm not going to say you weren't. But it's something that I really do appreciate.
And Irvin Antolon, 42, pled guilty of charges of riot and attempted assault.
Sorry, Irv. I'll be out of here in a second.
Hey, Irv, were you a member of the Proud Boys ever? I just want to check that. You were never a member of the Proud Boys. How about Battalion 49? You were Battalion 49? Can you answer that question?
No, I won't go in the elevator with you, don't worry. Thank you, man.
They were each sentenced to 5 days of community service, according to the Daily Mail and the New York Daily News, which furthermore reports, quote, earlier this month, Jake Pr0ud, if I'm saying that correctly, 27, and Eric Kaczynski, 22, also took deals in exchange for community service, unquote. According to Hyena Lauka, if I'm saying that correctly, quote, of the 10 Proud Boys charged in connection with the brawl, 7 agreed to plea deals and 1, David Kuriakosi, I guess, is still waiting trial, unquote. According to Vice, for what little that's worth, on October 23rd, quote, 2 of those men took plea deals and were given community services, 1 case is pending, and others who pleaded guilty have received sentences between 40 weekends and 3 months in prison, unquote. Quote, Jake Freyo and Eric Kaczynski were sentenced to 5 days of community service as part of a plea deal. 6 other Proud Boys members charged over the fight have also pleaded guilty and are awaiting sentencing, unquote. Vice painted a false image of the Proud Boys, quote, brutalizing protesters and passersby, unquote, which conflicts with every other report I have seen on this, as well as all of the video. Brutalizing protesters and passersby, huh? Uh-huh. They also claimed that a Proud Boy was, quote, overheard bragging about kicking a, quote-unquote, foreigner in the head, unquote. According to Gavin McInnes, what he said was 4 of them, that he got 4 of them, or there were 4 of them, or whatever, and not foreigner. Vice also said that this racially diverse, multinational group is a white nationalist group and misogynistic. Let's go over let's do a little sort of, I guess, what's the word? Let's do a little inventory of the reporting on this story alone, okay? Note that in reporting on this story, PIX11, BBC, Penn Live, Rolling Stone, Daily News, CBS 3, ABC News, Boing Boing, US News and World Report, Washington Post / Associated Press, and News Tribune call the Proud Boys far right. BPR, Fox, and the DC Clothesline did not, nor did they call them quote-unquote far-right activists, as did the New York Times / Associated Press, nor did they call them a quote-unquote far-right hate group, unquote, as did Democracy Now! And WOR 710, nor did they call them quote-unquote alt-right, as did the New York Daily News and the Daily Mail, or anything of that sort. The New York Post more or less called them alt-right by including this section, more on alt-right, in their article about this, and Vice called them, quote, a neo-fascist street-fighting gang, unquote. Now, to their credit, BPR, that is BizPac Review, called them, quote, a pro-free speech, pro-liberty fraternity, frequently maligned by the media as a, quote, white supremacist, unquote, group, unquote. PIX11, the BBC, Penn Live, New York Times, Rolling Stone, CBS 3, ABC News, US News and World Report, Washington Post / Associated Press, the Daily Mail, the News Tribune, and Democracy Now! And no doubt many other sources called Antifa anti-fascist in their reporting on this. The New York Post, BPR, Fox, and the DC Clothesline did not. They just called Antifa Antifa. PIX11, Penn Live, ABC News, US News and World Report, the BBC, Vice, the Daily Mail, the News Tribune, and no doubt others cited the SPLC's view of the Proud Boys, you know, they label them a hate group, without mentioning how discredited the SPLC has been rendered lately, losing legal battles because they blatantly lie, being charged by employees with racism and sexism and so on. At least the New York Daily News and the New York Times added that the Proud Boys founder, Gavin McInnes, is suing the SPLC for defamation. By the way, the Proud Boys themselves are suing the SPLC. And if you don't know, Gavin McInnes is no longer officially part of the Proud Boys. He stepped down as chairman. Enrique Tarrio is now the chairman. So Gavin McInnes on his own and the Proud Boys themselves are suing the SPLC. See my written report here about it, or my video here about this, or both. The Proud Boys have been slandered from congressional hearings, see this video of mine about it, to local news reporting and everything in between. For the plaintiff, Gavin McInnes, in his lawsuit against the SPLC, it is written, quote, while the SPLC's rhetoric routinely associates quote-unquote hate groups with actual, quote, hate crimes, unquote, SPLC has acknowledged that what it defines as quote-unquote hate group activity includes constitutionally protected quote, marches, rallies, speeches, meetings, leafleting, or publishing, unquote, and that the SPLC designation of a quote-unquote hate group, quote, does not imply a group advocates or engages in violence or other criminal activity, unquote. Indeed, in a 2018 Washington Post article, SPL President Richard Cohen admitted that in SPLC's view, it does not matter whether a SPLC hate designation is accurate in terms of identifying conduct motivated by actual quote-unquote hate, since it is part of, quote, an effort to hold them accountable for their rhetoric and the ideas they are pushing, unquote. Further down it says, SPLC acknowledges that its goal is to destroy organizations and persons it targets as, quote, hate groups, unquote, or as members of, quote, hate groups, unquote, as a matter of, quote, unquote, political struggle, unquote. And you can see right here, folks, I've given you a number of articles about the SPLC's racism and sexism scandals by CNN themselves. Okay, not just Breitbart, but CNN, Breitbart, Daily Caller, Daily Wire, twice, LA Times, Newsweek, New York Times, and Zero Hedge. Due to sloppy reporting in the past, some people still think the FBI has designated the Proud Boys an extremist group. As I reported last December the FBI did not classify Proud Boys as an extremist group. This is not correct. Keep in mind, folks, that Proud Boys chairman Enrique Tarrio and others have been financially unpersoned and banned from various social media platforms, as I've reported a number of times in our videos and reports. It is common to see reports, examples include the BBC, the Daily Mail, and the New York Daily News, mentioning that the Proud Boys are quote-unquote Western chauvinists. I've yet to see a single source clarify that the word chauvinist is not synonymous with sexist or bigot, which is what most people think. We're used to in our culture seeing the word chauvinist come right after male and right before pig. So we tend to think that a chauvinist is a sexist. That is not what that word means. A Western chauvinist is one who is partial to liberty, equality, democracy, the whole Enlightenment project, capitalism, individualism, enterprise, venture, and so on.
Martin Luther King would have probably been under that classification.
Well, yeah, he definitely fits in the whole Enlightenment. He's riding on that crest that kept going, which is now going backwards because they now want to bring racism back, and they want to judge people by the color of their skin instead of not judging people by the color of their skin.
And which fucking party is holding that flag high for them? Which
the KKK party.
Yeah, the Democrat Party is behind this whole. Let's make it so it's cool to be racist again, because segregation needs to be a thing now.
Yes. By and large, the West is the least sexist, least racist, least homophobic, least transphobic, etc., yada yada, civilization in history. One should be partial to these principles and values. One should be a Western chauvinist. Now, the following is from the Constitution and Bylaws of the Proud Boys International, LLC. In other words, this is official Proud Boys stuff, and this was from November of 2018. I archived that earlier today on October 23rd. This is Article 5, Membership. Section 1, Eligibility and Non-Discrimination. A. Membership in the fraternity shall be limited to persons who are born male, who currently identify as male, and who have been initiated through the second degree of initiation in accordance with these bylaws. B. No person eligible for membership in the fraternity shall be discriminated against or denied membership in the fraternity on the basis of race, color, creed, national origin, veteran status, disability, religion, marital status, or sexual orientation.
My God, how racist.
I know, you could be a gay black man.
What fucking bigots. I mean, they're giving people options? That's just the most bigoted fucking thing I've ever heard of.
Yep. And then we have C. A person that believes in the inherent supremacy of any one race over another, or is a member of any organization promoting the supremacy of any one race over another, may not become or remain a member of this fraternity. This includes, but is not limited to, any person who currently identifies as white nationalist, white supremacist, or alt-right, or any person who is a member of an organization identifying as such. Similarly, members of terrorist organizations or cells, including but not limited to Antifa, are prohibited from membership in the fraternity. So they are intolerant of terrorism. Oh my. Now, notice according to these reports, generally speaking, New York State Supreme Court Justice Mark Dwyer placed a lot of blame on Gavin McInnes. The incident took place after these Proud Boys left the talk by McInnes at the Metropolitan Republican Club in the Upper East Side of Manhattan, but McInnes was not present for the fight. He left the venue, got in a car. Some say he waved a sword around when clearly it was a plastic little samurai sword toy. But in other words, this judge is one of these people who doesn't exactly believe in personal responsibility. In reality, what these men did was their responsibility and no one else's. It wasn't their parents' fault. It wasn't Gavin McInnes's fault. It was what they chose to do as adults. Quote, I am not sure the most moral responsibility belongs to these two defendants, unquote, said Justice Dwyer. Now, even if McInnes told them, go outside and rush Antifa and attack them, and they did it, it would still be them making that decision. Alright? Now, I would argue that this judge is demonstrating a bias, one towards the soft-minded view that competent, sober adults are not entirely responsible for their own actions, especially when they're provoked by hate speech or whatever. Now, this next part's going to be a little redundant, but it bears repeating. Furthermore, Justice Dwyer is quoted as saying, quote, I know enough about history to know about what happened in Europe in the 1930s when political street balls were allowed to go ahead without any type of check from the criminal justice system, unquote. Oh, it's just like the Nazis. This seems to indicate that he is caught up in the current moral panic in which the demand for and the fear of Nazis is very, very high, and the supply is so low that people not unlike this particular judge or justice, pretend, knowingly or not, that people like the Proud Boys, who are not Nazis, are Nazis to fit their delusion that our time is like that of Germany right before the rise of the Nazi Party. With this in mind, I would argue, therefore, that this justice might not be mentally competent, or at least not impartial, and that this was a mistrial. Now, I haven't seen anything in any of these reports about whether or not they will appeal, if they can, under what conditions, but I sure hope they do. How the hell can you be a justice, let alone a judge, when you don't think that competent adults are fully responsible for their own conscious actions?
Your knowledge of history is as thus. Nazis existed. There you go. That's all you know, Judge. You don't know fucking shit. If you did, you would understand that the tactics being applied here by the fucking Antifas are exactly that was applied by the fucking Nazis before they became the motherfucking Nazis. And, again, we're being pushed, promoted, and paid for by a political group. Gee, that's exactly what Antifa's doing. But no. The Proud Boys, who were defending the very fucking thing that is your job to uphold, they're the Nazis in your book, because you know history so well.
Yeah.
Oh my fucking God.
Well, folks, there you go. I want to know what you think about this. Leave us a comment below. Please consider donating to us through Subscribestar. I can't give you the entire link because YouTube won't let us post the whole link. If we do, they claim it doesn't exist, the webpage. But it does. So copy and paste what I have, put in the description below, and just add that right after the https:// part. And it'll take you right to it. We could certainly use the money. That would be great. Thank you very much. Also, please subscribe to us on Pr0ud. It's like YouTube, but unlike YouTube, they don't censor, soft ban, shadow ban, etc. And they're not going to just shut my channel down for telling too much truth. Okay, folks? See the links below. Till next time, thanks for watching. Liberty, strength, honor, honesty, integrity, justice, truth, love, and laughter.